everybody, welcome back to Dungeon Maker here on the World of Madness server. And we haven't been here in a very long while. For those of you who might have been watching my more recent videos only, this is the janitor's room at the Tomb of Tukar. This is the eponymous dungeon, and we haven't been here for an age, for sort of the most ridiculous reason, and the recent updates have actually broken the lift I used to get out of here, so I had to climb up here like a heathen, like a peasant. Yeah. But the reason that we haven't been around here for a while is actually because I needed resources to work on it, and I went off to get those resources. And then those resources became a huge pair of projects in of themselves. So of course, over way in that direction, we have the slime farm, which grew into being the Hubris Harvester. And over in this direction, we have the Guardian Grinder, which I admit I mostly didn't need as much as the Harvester, but nonetheless, it's over here. It's actually a short flight over. Come on, world loading. Little further. You can do it. There it is, yeah. So over here, we have the actual, like, original part that was the ocean monument. And over there, ever so slightly there, like, oh no, am I hope I'm not, but I think I might be. Okay, huh. Do I have a... No, I don't have ender pearls on me. Of course I don't, because that would mean I was prepared. There we go. Over there, we have Prima. And... okay, I actually don't recall what the names of these... what the names of all three of these are. But over here, we have the three Elder Guardians. And they are what provide, or what will ultimately provide, the tomb with its build protection. So, we will have them on rails running up and down the length of the entire tomb under there. Ideally with a little bit of redstone machinery, so we can say, actually, could you turn that off now? We kind of need to, like, do some fixings and stuff. But yeah, this took a whole ton of time. And then I got up to, like, Grinder Model 2 at Hubris Harvester, and just decided, right, I'm not letting this thing beat me, we are going to actually, like, make a harvester that works. And then we went utterly ham and built the Hubris Harvester. So under here is a network of tunnels and such, which is the actual tomb's rooms, the tomb rooms, if you will. And the aesthetic around here is very much a sort of ancient Egyptian burial, like, archaeological dig, shall we say. Because over here, way over here, we also have the ancient quarry, which actually recently showed up in VFX 101 because it was a convenient place, which I have also culled for so much sand, partially to make the Guardian Grinder, and then partially to work on the Harvester and all sorts. I might need to just return some over here. But in between, there really isn't all that much. And I was thinking, like, people mentioned in the comments not too long ago that it's been a while since we were around here, and, you know, honestly, I was kind of missing the place myself. So I figured we would come back here and we would do some work on it. And that's going to require some time-lapsing, because I have an idea. Ooh, hey, somebody had a nice special bow. That must be from a husk. For one thing, this place looks horrible down here. I don't know what I was thinking with the Prismarine, but nonetheless, I have the Prismarine now, so I guess I can use it at will. But what we are going to do is we're going to fill in the space between the quarry and the tomb with a number of buildings similar to how the actual, like, quarry's buildings look, because the quarry is also made to look like it was abandoned, like it's ancient, it's old, it's just been excavated, that kind of thing. It's meant to look very much like a very old building that has since been unearthed. And we are going to have a ton more of those in between the tomb and the adventurer, like, tent where players will start before they venture into the tomb. Which, if you don't recall, you had to hit that up there to actually open the doorway down to get into the tomb itself. But this is gonna take a while, so with that in mind, it's time for a time lapse, because I love doing time lapses. As much work as they are. So with that in mind, As I say, how many times can I say that? I'll catch you all in a mo. Phew. Okay, well that took a while. Oh, hello, sir. How are you? Oh, very, very dead is what you are. Okay, that's fine by me. So, few things to show off, but of course the chief thing is the thing that you just watched me do a big time-lapse of that I've just spent 5 hours working on. I actually originally planned to have 2 different time-lapses this episode. I guess we'll have the next one in the next episode. But, oh boy. Okay, so the first thing is that we have extended this pathway out all the way over to our sort of mystic mountain over there. And yeah, you wouldn't expect it took 5 hours, but nope, it actually legit took 5 hours. That's the total length of the footage, not including the parts in between, where I was just doing stuff like flying off to get materials or repairing my pick and all sorts, and oh boy. But this place is probably best viewed from above, so let's get our elytra on, and let's hope it actually triggers. Really? Really? You're doing this to me. Okay, fine. I'll just find a slightly higher point to jump off then. Really? Wow, the server does not like me flying today, apparently. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. There we go. Okay, so there's our obelisk, which we all know and love. And over here, we have the recently unearthed forgotten city of Ashlon. So this is meant to be sort of... This is mostly a worker kind of colony. This is an area where the people who built the tomb, or as it was built originally at least, before the kobolds moved in, would stay and live and work and whatnot. And I have a few little ideas about different buildings over here. So for example, over here, we have the only 2 buildings in the entire settlement that have a second floor, as opposed to the ground floor. And I have it in my head that these were the supervisors. Or, like, this section was predominantly the higher-ups in the worker group. I haven't decided yet if they were slaves, or just indentured servants, or various other things. But, suffice to say, these guys were big on looking impressive, because they're the impressive people, they're the important people. And almost everywhere else is just a single room. There's one guy around here somewhere, if I can figure out how to navigate to this particular location. There is one guy around here who has a garden, and he really liked his garden. He made a big show of his garden, even though this is a desert and not very much grows here. I think it might be this one. I'm not terribly certain. I don't recall. It's a blur in the 5 hours I spent making this, but then we got this guy over here who has a room that's meant to be, like, visible on every side and all sorts, but it's actually his bedroom. We don't talk about that guy. But a lot of these are just singular rooms. They're mostly based on just sort of cubes. Very simple kind of things, built deliberately to resemble the same kind of structures that are over in the quarry over there. And that's why we have all of these wooden buttons that I had to lay out. These are all directly in line and all facing the same way per building. And they are meant to be what's left of the roof struts that would go through, the wooden beams that have since long rotted away and such. And we can see the sand has crept into the vast majority of these buildings as well. The streets, once pristine, have been heavily damaged over time, and sand's moved in there as well. This one over here, I think, is actually... Yeah, this one is threatening to be filled back in, and we've only just unearthed it. But this whole place is part of the same archaeological dig site, I guess we'll say, that has uncovered the tomb itself, and that's where we get our little story thread that leads back to MacGuffins, where the kobolds have taken over this dig site, and they're now living inside the tomb, and adventurer, green tent over there, you have been summoned to try and clear it out so that we can really appreciate the historical accuracy. And there was a dip here. I think under there is lava and a cave or something, but there was a dip there that I just sort of incorporated over here. So about the floor is just straight gone here. And I'm probably going to add a few more details to this place. I am probably going to try adding a few more tents similar, but maybe smaller than that. Just as like where the dig team and the archaeologists were and whatnot. A little planning thing as well. And a lot of this was just digging up more sand, digging up more sandstone. Not from the quarry, because I've actually kind of depleted that and I need to restock it if anything. But it's great to go through this as like a idea of, okay, here's what it is, how does that make it look? So, we'll do that. So, looking like all of the other buildings over at the quarry, we've got the smooth sandstone around here, as well as around the base. I decided to make the executive decision that none of these reach the corners, it's just around there. So these indicate the exterior entryways, so they're all, so even in the gardens, all of them are like that, but the interior ones are just sort of plain. And we've got a little speckling with the end stone brick, which is something we didn't have access to when we went to build the quarry, and the forgotten obelisk over there as well. I'm using forgotten a lot here, aren't I? I should come up with a different word for old and ancient and whatnot. But, and that bit of speckling gives us this slight impression of wear on the walls, that kind of thing. Maybe there was more pattern to this, maybe they all look like this, we don't know. We've only just begun the dig site, and unfortunately it's been overrun by kobolds. And the obelisk here serves a very important function, because like the peak on a church, it indicates a central location for the social area around it. And in that case, almost every single building in this town has at least one window that can directly see the obelisk. Because that is the important part. Very few windows around here don't see some part of the obelisk, and on the whole, relatively few larger windows are anything but for viewing the obelisk. So, it's like, the closer you are to the obelisk, the more of the obelisk you can see, the more... the higher your presumed social standing. And that's a nice little touch, that I think. So this was clearly a holy site, or a site of great significance in these people's lives, because they were building it, and that's what they were paid for, if they were paid at all. And I have had to move the sand in. If I get a bunch more sand from somewhere, I don't know exactly where, I might move these levels in a bit more, smooth them out some more. I might have, like, a contained area where we're just dumping sand from the archaeological digs, so it looks like, this is where we've been putting all the displaced sand, because right now it's just sort of leveled, and that's not quite good. Not quite what I'm going for, but nonetheless. Let me see, just as the sun's going down, there was another little bit that I did over here, which is that it's been so long since we've been back here that the piston bug, the piston translocation bug has been kind of borked. So my way of getting up from the janitor's area here is now completely broken. So I built a new one. So we have the significantly less subtle and discreet exit way here. And you can see down there we've got a little sort of, basically a lift shaft. There's some, those are probably like ghost blocks, don't worry about them. They're, did I just, oh. Grab that back. Okay. This still works, of course, because vines are vines and whatnot, and this place still looks ugly. So here we have what is essentially a flying machine. And it's pretty noisy, so gird your ears. But it's also pretty speedy. It's not nearly as fast as the translocation used to be. And that redstone block there is to trigger a circuit that will, after a slight delay, send it back down. But I might come up with a button that just loops all the way up there, just to trigger it on both ends, so you can just call it from the bottom. But it doesn't go all the way down to our lower level, which is fine by me, I guess. I'm probably gonna put more use to that later on. And it works. It's not quite as attractive as our previous version, but it works. And it means I don't have a ladder. I am not terribly comfy with the idea that there's just this exposure. But this thing moves up so quickly that it's hard to get a redstone signal to say retract a block at the top or something. So, yeah, that's what we got going for now. Our next job is probably going to be digging out the tunnels, the channels, you might call them, that our three magnificent elders over there, our magnificent ladies, will be riding up and down to provide ourselves with the block protection. Of course, you can still place blocks, you just can't remove them very well. And that's going to be a rail kind of thing, and that's going to be going up and down, and there's probably going to be timers at the top so they're there for a period and then they go back down, which will minimize the amount of rail noise, because Minecraft rails are notorious for being very loud and noisy. And I definitely want to go on a big... well, a moderate scale, I guess, time-lapse of in here to make this place look significantly better than it currently does. And I probably need to redo this as well. Nudge it over a block, make it work a little better. It works, for the most part, right now, at least. Oh, but yeah, it's good to be back, as hideous as this place goes. It's like I've come back from, like, university or something. I've come back from college, some meaningful point in my life, and I'm now back in, like, my childhood bedroom, and I'm noticing all the My Chemical Romance posters and whatnot on the walls, and it's like, oh god, I actually used to listen to that, I didn't, by the way. I listened to Dire Straits, I don't know if that's better. But, yeah, so that is Ashlan. That is the obelisk that we know and love. And that is the Tomb of Tukar. And for at least the next little while, it's where we're staying. So, with that, I hope you've enjoyed. And I shall catch you all